made some curry yesterday and I think it was phenomenal. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. So this was attempt number 3 and I was trying to recreate my experience at CoCo Curry. Obviously, I didn't expect too much, but I got pretty close. I got pretty close last night. So what is a Japanese curry? So according to the internet, Japanese curry has a thick gravy-like texture that is usually milder and sweeter than Indian curry. The base vegetables used are often onion, carrots, and potato, with chicken, pork, or beef being the popular meats. But yeah, so Japanese curry is usually served over rice as well. And then for their curry, they're more trying to reach a umami factor. If a suggestion, watch Food Wars and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like Japanese culture, they care about their food. Like they put so much detail into it to make sure that food experience is out of this freaking world. And that show shows you in a kind of weird way, but I love it, I love it. But yeah, so I've attempted to make it 3 times. The first time, I made it super lumpy. The consistency was way off. I overcooked it, let it stew too long. Second time, it was very good. It was pretty good. I even made little beef little pieces thrown in, so it was a little beef curry stew. But this time, I was like, all right, we're finding the CoCo Curry recipe, like the restaurant recipe. Because before, I was just using the box recipe. Also, actually, when I followed this the first time, it played me. Oh no! Don't use this. Cause how did it mess me up? It says to put your vegetables in first. And granted, like I said earlier, the base of this is carrots, onion, and potato. The carrot and onion is gonna break apart. I mean, not onion, the carrot and the potato will break apart if you put it in first. Cause you gotta let the roux, cause it's blocked, you'll see later on, it's thick, it's like a paste. So you gotta sit there and stir it so it can dissolve. And if you put the potatoes and the carrots in, you're gonna have mashed potato soup. Don't do it. So yeah, CoCo Curry recipe, found it on the YouTubes. And it was pretty good. So let's get into that cooking, y'all. Cook. Rio. That's how you say cooking in Japanese, I believe. I need to get back on my Rosetta Stone. It's been a week. To start, go ahead and cut up some veggies. I'm using onions and carrots. Don't be like me and use a bigger knife. As you can see, I'm struggling way harder than I need to be. Then you're gonna heat up your pot, oil it up. Make sure it's all nice and good for the onions to get thrown in there. You want them to be browned up because Japanese curries aim for a more bitter taste. So don't be afraid to let them cook real good, okay? Then you'll throw in your carrots and let those cook down too. And you'll also throw in your pancetta or bacon. I wish I did use bacon because I wanted to get more of a roasted flavor in it, but I did the research on the difference between the two after the purchase of the pancetta, so it's all good. We learn from our mistakes, right? Anyway, so now I'm just mixing it up, making sure everything's cooked down, sweated out, and soft. Roughly after about 5 minutes, when your veggies are all cooked down, you want to go ahead and add that water, about 3 cups, and then you'll season it with some Maggi. Hey, fun fact, so I noticed this seasoning is used across all kinds of cultures, so I had to look up where it came from, and is actually invented by a Swiss woman in 1863. So we learning out here today too. Anyways, now you're gonna add some bustelo, some coffee. Again, like I said, Japanese curries, they like to be bitter. The recipe said instant coffee, but I only had bustelo, so that's what I used. Okay, so now that all your ingredients are in the pot, all that's left to do is mix it together well and let it simmer and cook all the way through. Once the stock is all simmered up, next you're gonna wanna let it cool down before you blend it. This might just be my mom telling me this, but it's a good tip, I think. So you ruin your blaze when you put heat to it. So if you want your stuff to last longer, I advise you let it cool down before this step. As you can see here, my stock came out pretty orange, and that's because I used way more carrots than I needed to. And I did that because I had extra carrots, so why not? Didn't affect the taste, but it did affect the color, which kind of hurt because that's not CoCo curry. Anyways, I kept it pushing, and here you see I started to season the stock to my liking. I went ahead and added some more curry, some garam masala, and black pepper into the stock, as well as some barbecue sauce to give it a little more flavor. Ooh, also, I didn't record this, but I also put in some Polynesian sauce from Chick-fil-A, cause why not? I had it laying in the fridge, and the recipe I found called for like a vinegary, let me repeat that, vinegary taste. So I was like, you know what, I got some Polynesian, let me throw that in there. And then I started to mix it up before I got to the big step, which is adding the curry. I found this box curry at Walmart for about like $3, so it's pretty cheap. And what this roux is, it's basically flour and all the seasonings turned into a paste. So that step is already done for you, and that's why all you got to do is add it in and mix it up. So again, like I said, it's pretty thick, so you can see me breaking it up here, and you got to sit there and stir it, because ain't nobody trying to get a chunk of curry roux in their bite of food. Here I'm making some dredge for my chicken nuggets. I followed a recipe from a YouTuber that I found called Joshua Weissman, and he has a whole YouTube series called But Better, and what he does is make popular recipes but better. And I followed his Chick-fil-A recipe, and he said to add MSG, but I had adobo, and I love me some adobo, so I kind of got carried away with the adobo, as you can see. I just kept going and going. But anyways, yeah, so I followed his recipe and it was really good. I was kind of intrigued that it needed powdered sugar, but I threw it in because that's what the list said, and I had some. In addition to the MSG and the powdered sugar, I also added some black pepper, some Mrs. Dash salt-free seasoning, and some garlic powder. His recipe also called for some like dried porcini mushroom powder. I was like, ooh, I don't got no shrooms like that, so we used breadcrumbs instead. And then I also added the stir-fry seasoning that I had laying around, and in it had garlic powder and paprika. For my wet mix, I made my own buttermilk. All I needed was whole milk and cream of tartar, and you just shake it up and let it sit for 12 minutes. And after that, I went ahead and threw an egg in and mixed it all together, and that was my wet mix. The order of dipping that I did was first flour, then buttermilk, then back to the flour again. And pro tip that I had seemed to have forgotten during this video is you want to have one hand for the wet and one for the dry, so it's a little less messy than what I did. Yes, baby, look at them nuggets, baby. Damn, nuggets, you cute. You cute. It's fry time. We finna fry that chicken. Fry that chicken. Fry that chicken. You hear me? You hear me? I don't want no ketchup. I'm so extra'd out, but that video, I found it back in middle school. Not me, like me, my brother, and the neighborhood kids. We love that video. But anyways, I'm surprised how much I remembered it actually. Anyways, back to frying some chicken. So you're gonna want these little suckers to sizzle for about 2-3 minutes each side, or just eyeball it. I'm not gonna lie, I eyeballed it because I was going for color at the same time. But again, cooking is fun. It's a learning experience, and you know, trial and error. So that's what we're doing. But 3 to 5 minutes. Ooh, 2 to 3 minutes. Ooh, let me try one. Itadakimasu. Girl, you did that. Yay. Y'all heard that? All right, we're now approaching the final stretch of this meal, and it's cooking the rice. Easiest step, especially if you got a rice cooker. So here I'm rinsing my rice. I suggest getting you a fine mesh sieve like that so you can just rinse the rice real quick. Throw it in the cooker with some butter because I like flavor. And bow, time to plate that B-shud. And boom, there you have it. Some CoCo curry with a meat twist. Ew.